Welcome to another beginners Pilates class. This session we're going to focus on only 2 exercises, but the reason being is I want you to focus on absolute perfection. So we're going to work on making the movements as perfect as possible so that every single section, every movement, every breath is all in control, and that way you'll be able to build on these foundations. So if you want to join me on the mat, we're going to start in a laying down position. So the knees hip width apart and the feet hip width apart. And first of all, we're going to find our neutral spine. So you're going to tuck the pelvis underneath and flatten the back into the mat so it's completely pressed in. Now we're going to arch the opposite direction, so we're going to press the tailbone into the mat and arch as far as you can the other way. So just rock between those 2 extremes, pressing the back fully into the mat and then arching the other way. Now you want to find the midway point between those 2 extremes. So mine sits just about here. Some people have a small gap underneath the lower back, but you've got the natural curves of your spine. So we found our neutral position. We're going to engage the core before we begin. Nice deep breath in. Breathe out as you lift one knee so it's just above the hip. So we're drawing the belly button in towards the spine, but just contracting about 20%. Take another nice deep breath in. Breathe out as we lift the other leg so the knee is directly over the hip, and we're just going to hold this position for a few breaths. If you were to totally relax the core and it wasn't engaged, you'll find that your back will want to arch and it'll flop down. So by contracting the abs in, it protects the lower back, and we're strengthening the deep abdominal muscles and the deep back muscles. So now we're going to go into a toe dip. So you can imagine there's a pool of water just underneath your feet. So we take a deep breath in. Breathe out as the toe dips down into the pool of water. Breathe in as it returns. Good. Keep that contraction in your abs. Breathe in as you return. Good. So slow movements, nice and controlled. Coming back up so your knees just above the hip. Breathe out as your toe dips down. Breathe in as it returns. Good. Few more if you can. Smooth movements, keeping the hips and spine absolutely still. One more each side. Last one. Good. Then just breathe in normally for a few moments, and then on your next out breath, we're going to lower one leg back down to the ground. Place your foot down. Breathe in, breathe out as you drop the other leg back down. So from here, we're going to go into a mobility exercise. We're going to come out of a neutral spine position by tucking the tailbone under and pressing all the spine into the mat. So I literally can't get my hand underneath. We're going to start by lifting the tailbone off the floor. But before we do that, make sure that your feet are quite close into your body, not too far away. So make sure they're both flat and the feet are pointing forwards. We're going to lift the tailbone away from the mat, and you're going to peel your vertebrae off the mat one at a time, a little bit like a bicycle chain, peeling away. Very, very slowly. We're just breathing normally for this one. Slow, slow, slow. So I've gone from the bottom and I'm peeling it all the way up to the top. Now you want to aim for this ski slope position. You don't want to go too high. You don't want to flare the ribs up. The ribs should be softened down, but the hips still high. Smooth ski slope position. And from here, we're going to start by peeling the spine back down from the top all the way back down to the bottom. So in order to do that, you do need to tip the hips right underneath to initiate the movement and peel each vertebrae down on the mat. Very, very slow. Now, as you get down to the bottom, you'll feel like it's a little bit harder because there's a little bit less mobility in that lower part of the spine. So that's quite normal, but try your best to peel it all the way back down so that your back is now pressed into the mat, and then just tip it back into that neutral position. So the hips are nice and level. If you imagine that the front of your hip bones were headlamps on a car, they'd be pointing up to the ceiling. Same again, tuck the pelvis underneath, press the back into the mat, lift the tailbone away. You're activating your glutes as well as we slowly peel the spine away from the mat, one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to the top. Don't forget your breathing. Nice, long, soft breaths up to the ski slope position. And at the top, we start peeling the spine slowly back down. So you want to aim to get rid of any little tight spots, any bit of stiffness in the back. And you are using your core to control the movements. That's it, be careful as we peel the bottom section, really slow and smooth, and then back to a neutral position at the top. We're going to do one more of those. Pressing the back into the mat first, lift the tailbone away, slowly peel the spine. Good, we don't want to rush this movement. Like I said, we want to focus on doing each of the movements so perfect they look literally textbook. Good, peeling the spine back down. Slow, slow, slow. Really tip that pelvis under so that you can peel very, very carefully and controlled back down. Good, and come back to a neutral position. I've moved my hands out the way so that you could see my spine. Very good, so come onto your side, come back up to sitting, and we're finished. So practice those ones and I can guarantee your core is gonna get really strong. So thank you again, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.